Hello and welcome to the Midnight Quilt Show. Tonight I'm going to do a little flower arranging with a quilt pattern called Bouquet by Monique Jacobs. This is where I'm going to turn into a florist, well, a quilting kind of florist, with some beautiful fabrics and an even better pattern. So let's get to it. So I have everything that I need to make my beautiful bouquet quilt. I have my fabric, I have my piecing potion, I even found this beautiful vase that's gonna work great for my arrangement. I'm just kidding. I can't keep flowers alive to save my life, so this will just have to be a decoration. But first, we have to use our fabric. And I have a pre-cut roll. We love pre-cuts, right? Because we get right to the piecing. And beautiful purples and some greens. This is gonna be perfect. And my favorite thing about batiks is that you don't have a right or wrong side. You don't have to worry too much about where you're marking or sewing. So look at all those beautiful prints. Gorgeous. But before I can start subcutting these into smaller rectangles, I'm gonna arrange them into lights and darks. Basically, we want two piles. One will be the beautiful flowers and one will be the background. So let's start cutting up those light strips. Now, if only flower arranging were this easy. But even though I'm much better at the fabric flowers piecing than I am at actual flower arranging, I think there might be hope for me yet. Carly from the Flower Kitchen has been giving me some great tips, such as don't let your leaves get in the water, start with the bigger elements first. Maybe one of these days I'll get there. The problem is you can't really apply many of the tips from flower arranging to quilting. I can't really cut my stems at an angle. I can't use water. So once I have my lights cut into a bunch of little teeny tiny squares, it's time to cut the darks or the other pile into different size rectangles. So I have a pile of squares, a pile of strips. It's time to turn this into a beautiful flower block. So to give our flower a little bit of a pointy look, we're gonna do some stitching and flipping. So I have two squares, the lighter and the dark, and placing them right sides together, I'm gonna sew directly on a line that I've drawn from one corner diagonally to the opposite corner. So there I have a beautiful half square triangle, but I need more than just that to make my flower block. So I'm gonna do the same thing with a different size rectangle of the darker fabrics. So I placed my lighter squares on top of the rectangle here. And what I wanna point out is my drawn lines are going at different angles. I really need mirror images of this so that I have a symmetrical flower. But I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna stitch on the line, trim it, and press it open. And it may not look like it, but I have the first part of my flower block right here. And I'm gonna arrange them like this. So there's the first couple steps, and you can see my flower with the nice points there. And I'm gonna do the same with the next two sizes of rectangle until I have my block all ready to go. Now I know you're supposed to use a rotary cutter to trim these off, but it's a lot quicker than flipping this mat over every time. It's these time-saving tips that make me feel like I can make this bouquet nice and fast. All right, there's my next row of petals. I just have another couple pieces to add, and then we'll see how this block comes together. Oh look, I have one that's going the wrong way. That's not fun, but I'll save that for another block. And we'll try it again. So I have all the pieces for my beautiful bouquet block, and I'm basically gonna piece it like a log cabin. I'm gonna start with these two squares, and then add the bottom and the side, the bottom and the side and the bottom until the whole block is finished. So my first block is finished, but I need a total of 4 blocks to make one beautiful flower. So as you can see here, I've remade that same block 3 more times and arrange them so they meet in the center. Now all I have to do is sew them together in rows and sew the rows together, and I have one big, beautiful flower block. So I have the first 3 blocks for my row, and you can tell they're all made exactly the same way with that stitch and flip technique. And look how pretty all those colors are. But these flowers need a little space, so I'm gonna lay some strips in between as sashing. Then of course we can't forget the top sashing, so I have more strips and little cornerstone pieces that are gonna be the final touch to a beautiful bouquet. All right, I have the first step all laid out. I'm gonna sew this together and I'll show you what it starts to look like. And this beautiful quilt top is done. I love how the sashings in between the blocks really separate those beautiful colors, and it's gonna be a blast to quilt. And the best part, there's no more borders. So once that outer sashing goes on, it's finished. So I'm gonna get this thing basted and I'm gonna get to the best part, machine quilting, because you can't do that on a real flower. So my quilt sandwich is basted and ready to go, and what I love about batiks is with all this beautiful color, the quilting is pretty much gonna blend in. So I'm gonna do a nice all-over pattern just to give it a beautiful texture. Now I know not everybody loves machine quilting as much as I do, and in fact in some of my earlier episodes I try to really encourage you, and I read one of the comments by Michelle who said she had 20 unfinished tops. Michelle, there's nothing wrong with that. You have all this great potential to play on. So go ahead and have a fun time quilting different textures, using a thread color that matches will make it fantastic, and the main idea is that you just have fun with it. But I have to say, I also love how everybody is chiming in, giving suggestions and encouraging you, because really that's what this community is all about. Oh, that's so much fun. Now I have to say, when it comes to asking questions about machine quilting, there's no dumb questions. If you have a question, leave it in the comments, because if you have that question, other people probably do as well. And Penny said the same thing. She's like, oh, it feels weird, but I don't know why you start in the center. And ultimately, the reason I start in the center of the quilt is because it's never gonna be heavier than it is at that moment. For me, it's entirely psychological. You can start anywhere that you want. So if the center of the quilt is something scary and you're not sure what to do, just do a border or do a different area. Ultimately, the best way to finish a quilt is to get started. So pick a place and get quilting. Ultimately, it's important to ask questions because that's what these videos are here for. Not only to entertain you with my wildly hilarious jokes, of course, but also to teach you just a little bit of something about the machine quilting or quilting in general. That's why I love all of Bluprint's videos, including the flower kitchen. So many things that she addresses on there I never knew. So it's like she's answering my questions before I even ask them. So now I'm at a good point where I can show you how I've been quilting it. Now since this is a flower but a little pointier, I thought why not use that as inspiration for the quilting design. So I'm quilting a flower design with pointy leaves. And it's pretty easy. I'm just gonna start with a little curl and then work my way out around that curl, quilting pointy kind of petals. And these could be kind of leaf shaped or more arched, but the main idea is I just want them to kind of go out and look a little bit like a flower. Now when I run out of room, because I'm getting ready to run into another swirl, I'm gonna quilt another little swirl and add some more of those pointy petals. Now the size of these petals will really determine the density, so I'm trying to keep them somewhat the same size, although it's not a big deal if they're not. And when I'm ready, go right into my next one, adding a swirl and some of those pointy petals. They don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, so don't worry about that, and they don't even have to be perfectly pointy. Just quilt them and move on. Now, as you're quilting your flowers, if you get to a point where you need to maneuver around, you can use echoing, which is quilting around a previously quilted shape to help you maneuver around the area. This is also a great way to fill in gaps or really kind of maneuver around. And then once you're ready, you're gonna go into your next design, swirl, and then adding some more of those petals around the outside. And the result is a pointy, florally kind of design that's gonna add a beautiful texture to our quilt. Well, I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all finished. While this bouquet may not smell as great as a fresh bouquet of flowers, it definitely doesn't need water to stay alive, so that means it's gonna last a lot longer. I am loving the idea that you can do a little stitch and flipping to get an intricate looking block, which is really just the same block repeated 4 times. The beautiful batik fabrics let all of them blend into each other for a beautiful texture. But unless you think I'm not really good at flower arranging, I do want to show you the little fabric arrangement I've made here. Okay, it is a little sad. Which one do you think is better, the quilt or this? So be sure to subscribe and leave a comment because you never know what's going to happen on the Midnight Quilt Show.